helping you to weather good and bad economies without putting retirement on hold. This is the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo. Ken and his son Nick know that creating a comprehensive financial plan can align your hard-earned life savings with your retirement goals. Consider them your retirement architects. Now, the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo.
Nick, I know you're a big sports fan in college football's multi-team playoffs. They've been around for 10 years, and we watched as the field of 4 teams grew to 12 this past season. So after trying it, a lot of coaches, players, and fans threw a flag on allowing conference champions to get a first-round bye no matter the record. So we could see a big change that the 4 top-ranked teams will get the bye, but others think that one season maybe wasn't a big enough test for this. What would you say, Nick, to spin this back to retirement? What would you say to a client who wants to make a drastic change like that to their retirement plan the moment things get a little bit bumpy?
Yeah, we're seeing a little bumpiness right now, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. But just to turn it back to college football, that is my number one sport to watch. And my wife and I are huge Penn State fans, especially since she's on today. I wasn't good enough to go to Penn State for that part. But I think they do need to keep the playoffs the same. So I'll leave it at that. But I definitely think, and we're even seeing more changes on college football. It just keeps changing every year. So it's a mess right now. Structure. They really need some structure. And that's where, even to tie it in with clients need structure in their plan. And instead of looking for drastic plans to change a retirement plan right when things are bumpy, you should be looking at it even earlier than that. If you're thinking, okay, I'm going to retire in 3, 5, 7 years, I'm just going to keep everything in the stock market and keep in the target funds and stuff like that, and then worry about it maybe a year or right when I retire. And people shouldn't do that, because now you have things like right now where we have some uncertainty in the market, and you're like, okay, should I make a drastic change right now? And most of our clients right now, they're already set up for, okay, we have a retirement plan in place, and have some structure where we have some in the market, some in the safe. Some people like some risk too. So kind of just building it into your risk tolerance. But the biggest thing is, if we do go in this bumpy sense, and let's say, unfortunately, something happens and we go into a recession, God forbid, we know that will eventually happen during anyone's retirement. Because if someone goes in retirement for 20, 25 plus years, you're going to see at least a couple recessions. Usually there's one every decade or so. So you want to be prepared before these things happen, is what I'm trying to get to. And even on the market side, you could make adjustments when things are starting to get a little bumpy as well. But if we got things structured where we have some in the market and some in the safe, and what I mean by safe is stuff that can't go down. So you're thinking U.S. Treasuries, CDs, money market, fixed index annuities, stuff that can't lose money in the market. And this is where I tell my clients, okay, if we're going to retire, let's use this year, for example, you're going to retire in June of 2025. And you're 65 and we do go into a recession, what do we do? Okay, should I work an extra 1, 2, 3 years and kind of weather this out? Or because we got this plan set up in place earlier on, you still retire in June. All you have to do instead, you still retire in June if the plan still works. You just say, okay, instead of pulling from the market money where we got hit a little bit because of the bumpiness, let's take from the safe piece, because that's where that safe piece was supposed to be used. Now you're saying, okay, I still retire, I still go travel, I still go do what I want. It's just you're switching where you're taking the money from, so you still go do those things. Because I have a few clients that I know of that are off the top of my head. I have one just retired Friday, and then I have another one retiring in May, and that's 2 that I'm just thinking of right now. And I know they're going to start thinking, okay, this is getting a little uncertain right now. And that's how the market has been the last couple months. I've noticed there's been a little rockiness. So if you have these things set up in place ahead, now instead, when we start discussing, okay, where are we taking the retirement funds from, if things do keep going the way that they are or go even worse, we're just taking from that safe piece. And that's why I really stress that bucket approach, even for people that are aggressive, because you never know what's going to happen. I see a lot of people come in, especially the aggressive folks, and they say, oh yeah, well, the market's been phenomenal the last 15 years or so. And you look over the course of the last 15 years, your accounts have done really well if you've been in the market. And what you really want to kind of stress is, okay, these things will happen, and retirement income or retirement growth is different than growth in your 30s and 40s. For me and my wife, we're in our 30s. I'm going to take the chances. And she's making a face. She's 29. I should have.
One more year. You can't do that to your wife, Nick.
Oh, man. But we have time is the biggest thing. If we wanted to retire at 65, we still have 30 plus years to get growth. So we can weather the storm. With someone that's 3-5 years before retirement or in retirement, you have to give up some of it. And it's just going to make you feel a little more comfortable spending in retirement. Because I don't want someone to, let's say you are full out risk and the market does go down. Unfortunately, the last 2 recessions went down 52 and 54% respectively. I forgot which one's which, but about 50% on both. And if that happened and you're fully in the market and you're one of those risky people, you're not going to want to travel. You're not going to want to do the things that you want to do in retirement. You're going to say, you know what, let's weather this out. Let's just sit out. Let's kind of relax for a little bit. Let's just stay home. Let's not do as much just because the market counts down. No, I don't want that in retirement. You worked 30, 40 years. You deserve the retirement you want. Let's just shift things a little bit. And you might have to take some out of the market to make you feel comfortable, but it might let you do those things because we want you to make those memories in retirement. It's not just about, okay, let's get the most growth and it's a game. And I know I've had a couple people come in and they just want to see the biggest number at the end, but sometimes that uncertainty kind of unfortunately doesn't let you spend in retirement. So if you have a little bit more certainty, you'll feel more comfortable, you'll build those memories, and that's where that Tumolo Retirement Checkup comes in. We build this out complimentary to the first 5 callers that call in today. Our phone number is 860-854-3434, or you can look us up on tfcheckup.com.
Investment advice offered through Tumolo Wealth Management, a Connecticut-registered investment advisor. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here.